Today's deck is built around Drannith Magistrate, a 2-mana 1/3 that prevents our opponent from playing spells from anywhere other than their hand, and we're playing a full playset. That means we're packing a bunch of effects that tries to get their cards out of their hand and then use this to lock them out of playing the game. Before we talk about those cards, I want to quickly mention that this naturally stops things like a Bonecrusher Giant on Adventure or a Kroxa from the Rakdos Midrange deck, which is arguably one of the best decks in the format. It also stops Flashback, which means things like Can't Stay Away from the Greasefang deck, Memory Deluge from the Blue-White control decks, and Storm the Festival from the Green Devotion decks. It also has decent defensive stats, making it a solid blocker against aggro decks. So I actually think the card does a lot on its own in the format. But now let's talk about how we're trying to abuse this effect. We got Elite Spellbinder and the new card Invasion of Gobakhan, which both exiles a card from the opponent's hand when entering the battlefield, and we're playing 4 copies of both. Spellbinder is a great disruptive creature and it synergizes very well with Invasion of Gobakhan, as it's an evasive body with 3 power, so it can attack the battle to 0 defense counters in one swing. And if you flip the Invasion of Gobakhan, things get really obnoxious. And we got a few additional ways of flipping the battle with a couple of 3 power 2-drops as well, which we'll get to in a minute. So ideally you play one of those 2-drops and then Invasion of Gobakhan on turn 3, which potentially lets you flip it that same turn and then put a counter on your 2-drop in the end step. And then you'll have the backside ready to protect your now oversized 2-drop, so the deck can be pretty explosive and apply a lot of early pressure. So before we talk 2-drops, I want to mention the 2 copies of Orobrask Heretic Praetor, which is the top end of this deck and works very well alongside a Drannith Magistrate. If you can manage to stick a Magistrate and exhaust their resources and then top it off with an Orobrask, they're now completely locked out of the game, as even the cards they draw will be exiled from their hand and thereby unplayable. Now let's talk 2-drops. We got 3 copies of Silverquill Silencer, which is just perfect for the deck. As mentioned, it has 3 power, so it's good at flipping the battle, but it's also highly synergistic since we're playing a deck with lots of hand disruption. So we get a lot of information about the cards in our opponent's hand. And forcing them to take 3 and letting you draw also fits the game plan of applying early pressure quite well. So the rest of the deck is basically just typical Rakdos Midrange stuff, so I'll try to keep it short as you're probably quite familiar with these cards. We're playing playsets of both Bloodtithe Harvester and Fable of the Mirror Breaker, the Rakdos staple that has definitely proved to be an incredibly strong combo. The only thing I'll say here is that Harvester is the other 3 power 2-drop, making it even better than it already is. And then we have playsets of Fatal Push and Thoughtseize, and a couple of Bonecrusher Giant and a couple of Sheoldred the Apocalypse. Again, pretty typical Rakdos stuff. Thoughtseize is also really synergistic with all the hand disruption and can often get rid of a removal spell, so we can get to keep our 2-drops in play. And just before we go to the gameplay, when recording, these 2 copies of Bonecrusher Giant were rip apart, but I found them to be a little clunky, so I made this change. I do consider this the flex slots of the deck, so you could play something else here like Go for the Throat or a Braid or Sheoldred's Edict, whatever you prefer. Now let's head over to the gameplay. Alright, we're playing some Mardu Magistrate in Explorer, and this looks like a fine hand. Go Thoughtseize into Magistrate into Fable or Elite Spellbinder, depending on what they have in hand. We get that information from Thoughtseize. So I think we are definitely gonna keep this. So, opponent on the mulligan, Unlucky Witness, so probably Sacrifice. This is going to be a handy way of dealing with the oven, if that's going to be relevant. So I think let's just shock this in now. It's going to happen anyway. Alright, so we get to... like Mayhem Devil, we can just rip apart, right? So let's just get the Kroxa here. That also means that they have nothing to do on turn 2. So that's pretty good. Alright. Gobakhan. So this might actually be pretty decent, even though normally this is not something you're playing on turn 2. But I think just getting rid of the Mayhem Devil here is not leaving them the option to even play it is gonna be pretty solid. Okay, so let's play Haunted Ridge. And they're still not even close, even with the next land drop, they can't play this, so this is a pretty good opening to play like either Fable or Spellbinder. And I think even though they're down to one, potentially only one non-land spell in hand, I think I'm going with Spellbinder anyway, rather than Fable, because that way we can flip the invasion next turn. Okay, so it's just a land, but I mean that's really a good thing, honestly. Alright, they find an oven. So, that's fine. No blocks. So that means if you play Magistrate now, they're not going to be able to play cards off of Unlucky Witness. Okay, they're going for it now. They find another oven and a Fatal Push. They can push the Elite Spellbinder now. I think that's probably going to be a good plan for them. But then again, they're down to pretty much nothing, and we can just play Magistrate here. That way they can't play the Devil. So let's do that. That's pretty brutal, man. So that means their next turn is probably gonna be Den of the Bugbear activate. And that's pretty manageable. We can block the 1/1. So let's do that. And they'll sack to the oven, sure. Get some food. Alright, Orobrask, so that means if we go with Fable now, we can Orobrask next turn and they're pretty much locked out of the game. So things are going according to plan here, most definitely. Okay, they find a Hive and it's another Bugbear activation. So again, we'll just block the 1/1. And that means that we have, thanks to the treasure, we're guaranteed 5 mana, so that means they're pretty much locked out here. I think we'd like to get rid of the oven at some point, so we'll hold on to the Rip Apart. But I think we're discarding these. Another invasion. Okay, so I think let's just get rid of the Gavakan, attack with Magistrate as well to get the counter. And we just play Orobrask. Like the reason I discarded the land there was I was hoping to find an untapped land so we can get this in with the haste. But in retrospect, I think it's probably actually a good idea to have this as a blocker for the Den of the Bugbear. However, they can go with the Hive at this point, which has Menace. So like we just gotta stay on defense now, and that should be good enough. If we just attack with one creature. We also get to flip the Fable here, so we're having a pretty solid board in place. Alright, we find the Blood Tithe Harvester and another invasion. These are pretty sick in multiples, if we get to flip them, that is. I think we'll go with the Harvester here. Yep. So no Rip Apart this turn. So yeah, I guess we'll just play one of these. And kill it. And just hold back. Like, we're not busy at this point. They're pretty much locked out of the game. All they're down to is activating their manlands, and if we just leave enough stuff back to block, that's not gonna be a way for them to win the game. All right, activate Den of the Bugbear. So they're just gonna suicide. All right, they see the writing on the wall and scoop it up. All right, good game. All right, we're playing some more Mardu Magistrate in Explorer, and this hand looks pretty sick. However, it's gonna be hard to curve out perfectly here. So I guess we'll keep, and we'll go with the Thoughtseize, and then if we draw an untapped white, that is, we will definitely go with the invasion on turn 2. Okay, so Elves, that's going to be a tricky matchup, I think. Potentially at least. I hope we find some fatal pushes. So I guess if we take the Lord here, Do we even do that? If we just go Drannith Elite? Well... I think we'll take one of the Drannith Elites. So, untap white? Nope. Alright, so we'll just go with the Triumph this turn. So this is a little bit of a downside, but we're playing a pretty demanding set of spells, so we have to meet a certain requirement when it comes to colored mana sources. So Elvish Warmaster, that's we could also go with the Blood-Tithe Harvester. Yeah, so I think the fact that we are not really drawing that much removal right now is kind of gonna bite us. Alright, so they're probably just going with the Drannith Elite. Yep. It's fair, make a couple 1/1s. And the Jesper Sentinel. Okay, so now they got a board. So I guess we discard this land, we discard... like this is good now, right? So maybe we just discard the lands. We're kind of looking for a second white source here. We don't find it. That's a shame. So I think we attack to be able to go Invasion and Magistrate. To effectively take a card out of their hand. And I mean, it's gotta be the Lord, right? They cannot have that. So attack the Invasion. So let's see if they do any blocks here. I'm okay with that. So now we play the Drannith Magistrate. And they can't play the Lord. So Shaman of the Pack deals 6 here. So we're getting pretty close to being dead. Okay, so it deals 7. Sure. However, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They don't have enough to activate this yet. But we are only taking 1 damage from combat here, so that's okay. And we get to flip the Fable. We get to play Harvester. So do we shock here to play? I think we do. We want to gum up the board as much as possible here. Doesn't do anything. So hopefully they're not gonna find land. Well, that might be problematic as well. Like a couple Shaman of the Packs are just gonna end the game here. Realm Walker, Drannith Elite. They make 2 more 1/1s. Yeah, so not playing sweepers in best of 1 is kind of risky, I guess. So I guess we Reflection and use the copied Blood-Tithe Harvester to deal with the Warmaster, so they can't activate that. I mean, I guess we have to, right? Make a blood. So I'm not really sure we even live another turn, but let's see. We can't attack with the Spellbinder, right? How much damage do we take? 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, we gotta hold back. But Reflection and Blood-Tithe Harvest is gonna be a slow way of starting to remove their stuff. I think we're gonna trade the Spellbinder with the Shaman of the Pack if they plan on swinging with everything here. Also, if they only swing with the Shaman, I think we take that trade. Alright, opponent decides to not do anything. Alright, another Drannith Magistrate. I'm not really sure we need that. we'll do this. We'll get rid of the Realm Walker now, I think, to minimize the odds of them finding a Lord, because that would just end the game. So let's blot away the Drannith Magistrate. Brask. Okay. Okay, so they get one more turn to find what they need. There's actually a decent chance we get to steal this game back now. Okay, so War Master is not gonna be enough for them here, actually, because we can still use the reflection to just deal with that. So hopefully we find an untapped land here, so we can both Brask and copy the Harvester to get rid of the War Master. Because they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. However, they'll have to tap down 4 creatures to be able to use the ability, but I still think it would be enough. Okay, they're gonna swing. Alright. Well, I guess we block some Sentinels. So we go down to 3. So it's gonna be exciting to see whether or not we're alive here. Are they gonna have enough to just end the game? Sundown Pass. Okay, so that lets us do both. However, do we need the reflection of Kikijiki to block this turn? They got 1, 2, 3, 8 attackers, and we got... I mean, I guess it's the same, right? Because this way we tap down one of our own creatures, but we also remove their creature. So, yep. Get rid of the War Master. We got 4 blockers, so I guess we go to 1 here. Like, am I missing something? 1, 2, 7. No, we're actually dead. We're actually exactly dead. We're exactly dead. Wow, that sucks, man. That was really close. Good game, opponent. That was really close to actually. We were really close to stabilizing that game, but they found the exact number of elves to be able to end the game in. Alright, we're playing some more Mardu Magistrate in Explorer, and we got yet another very capable hand here. So let's go with that. Thoughtseize you. So we're up against a Gigantha deck. Huh? It's like the Gruul vehicles. So what do we do here? We can obviously Fatal Push the elves. So do we get rid of Contaminator or Reckless Stormseeker? I think Contaminator is the most scary card here. So let's get rid of that and pass the turn. So that means we get to play this, no, this tapped rather, and then Fatal Push the Mystic. Push you. So you go. Hopefully we find like a Fable or a Spellbinder here. Spellbinder would be pretty awesome actually. That means they can't Reckless Stormseekers. Alright. Opponent plays a Forest and a Scavenging Ooze. That's okay. Okay, so Harvester is a pretty good draw here, I guess. He would have preferred a 3-drop, but we'll take a Harvester. We can't even use the blood to ditch one of these Sheoldreds. However, I don't think we'll do that. Because we might use the Blood Tithe Harvester as a removal for the Scavenging Ooze. Maybe if they play the Stormseeker here, I think we do that to prevent it from growing too big. Okay, so they don't do that in fact. They just Obliterating Bolt. Okay, I guess that's fine. So they'll probably just eat something out of the graveyard here. It's actually good for us that this exiles, because that's one less creature they can use to grow the ooze. So I guess that's fine. Alright, we take 3. take the turn. Blood Crypt off the top. So let's just play Shieldred and do Shieldred things. Right? They can't grow this big enough to actually be able to attack here. Right? They got one no, they can't. They only got one creature. So Obliterating Bolt exiling is actually really huge here. We can only get this to a 4/4. So that's definitely awkward for the opponent here. They go ahead and eat the elf and place the Stormseeker. Okay, so the Stormseeker can grow the Scavenging Ooze big enough. I think since we have nothing else to do next turn, we might as well take this trade. And then just play another Shieldred. Sure. Okay, so the only card we know about here is Boseiju, so it's going to be exciting to see what the opponent finds. Okay, Gigantha in hand maybe? Like hopefully we can find something like a Gobokhan, Invasion of Gobokhan, or Spellbinder or something to go along with this Drannith Magistrate here next turn. That would be pretty sweet. Right, go to combat, attack. I mean, I think we just take it. We're not gonna risk like a Bone Crusher Giant or something to get rid of our second Shieldred. I guess having 3 toughness on this is also pretty sweet. Okay, so this is also okay. We'll definitely use it to... Oh, we can't. It's got 4 toughness now. Okay, sure. So that's a bit annoying. I think we just pass. They're playing Gruul, they probably have other things with haste. Alright, so let's see if it's just gonna be Gigantha this turn. If they just slam Gigantha and nothing else, like if they go double spell, I hold on to this. If they just slam Gigantha, I think I loot it away with the blood. Okay. And they probably haste up the Gigantha, get in for 6. 7. Oh, this gives +2 when it's night. Okay. No blocks. So we'll ditch the Rip Apart. It's not doing enough here. Fatal Push. That's I mean, I guess we'll take this window and get rid of the the haster. Alright. We'll cycle this. Invasion of Gobokhan. That's pretty sick, actually. Get rid of the Obliterating Bolt. Now they can't get rid of the Magistrate. We'll flip this. We'll attack with this as well. We're not gonna block. So we'll get counters on both our creatures here. Getting Shieldred to 6 toughness here is actually also very relevant. And I mean, if they Boseiju this now, we'll just, I mean, sack it. And we got the value, I think. But they definitely can do that. But they're kind of losing this race at this point, because we're gaining 2 every turn with Shieldred. If we can find an Orobrask now, that would be the best draw, actually. Do we sacrifice this, or do we take a land? A Triumph? I think I'd like a Triumph here. Sure. Thank you. So let's see what they do here. what is the last card they're down to? Right, goes to combat. And nothing else. What do they do? Stomp the face. Okay. Sure. I don't think we play this. If we draw something that produces blood or anything, like, we'd like the ability to just loot it away. So I think, like, they can't play the Bone Crusher now. So I think we just go to town here, and they're down to this top deck to be able to win the game. If they top deck 3 damage, we lose. A Bone Crusher Giant is not going to be enough. So it would have to be something like another Stormseeker that would end the game here. Llanowar Elves is not going to do it, so that means we win. Good game. Good game. Let's just pass the turn and let Sheoldred do its work. Alright, good game, opponent. Let's go. Alright, more Mardu Magistrate in Explorer, and we got another pretty keepable hand, so yeah, let's go Harvester into Fable. Like, that's pretty solid. Alright. So we're up against some variation of Rakdos, by the look of it. Sure. So we got the combo. Now we just need to run them out of resources, and yeah. Okay, Fatal Push. Cut down. It's a Fatal Push. Alright, fine. Let's see if they go Fable or Trespasser or something here. Oh, it's Sacrifice. All right. So I actually think we go ahead and use this blood. Or do we? Nah. Let's hold on to the Fatal Push. Let's just yeah, let's rip apart the Mayhem Devil. Maybe actually we should have held on to that so we had an answer for an oven, but I'm not really sure about what the right line there was. Okay, so I actually think, like, we got another answer for the Mayhem Devil, so I think we take up Nixilis here. Take you. Alright, they Thoughtseize. Okay, so sure. They take Urabrask, they take the Fable. Like, that's understandable. Unlucky Witness. Alright, so Drannith Magistrate's gonna lock them out of casting anything here. Let's see if they go with the Village Rites in response here. Like, that wouldn't really do anything, right? So I think we just Thoughtseize. Get the Mayhem Devil out of there. Okay, Village Rites in response, that's fine. So these Thoughtseizes are gone. Claim the Firstborn. That can't happen. We gotta take that. So now they're down to Mayhem Devil, and we can just pop this blood to deal with that. Okay, no spot removal, please. Like, a Fatal Push top deck here would be pretty devastating, because that means that they can double Thoughtseize and we're left with no hand. Okay, so Mayhem Devil, that's fine. Alright. I really don't like doing this, but I think we have to ditch the Urabrask here. And we give them a Mayhem Devil trigger, but we need to trigger Revolt to be able to deal with Mayhem Devil. Let's see what we draw. Silver Quill Silencer. Okay. So Fatal Push here. Sure. Let's chip in a damage and pass the turn. Okay, Unlucky Witness. And Deadly Dispute. So they exile a couple lands they can't play. Oh, they can. They can actually play lands, but nothing else, right? All right. So, I mean, do we just name Fatal Push? Like, they're down 2 Mayhem Devils and 3 Thoughtseizes. I think this just names Fatal Push. So yeah, we got some pressure now. Now let's see what they're gonna do about that. We haven't really found. Okay, they find the 3rd Mayhem Devil. Sure. So Fable, like it's a good top deck, but I am a little afraid here. So I think we just start applying some pressure, not with this guy, but these 2 attack. We're happy with any trade here. Yeah, I thought so. So things are starting to look a little scary here with having them untap with the Mayhem Devil. Hopefully they don't have much else. And hopefully we can find our Urabrask and just lock them out of the game here. Kroxa. They get a Mayhem Devil trigger. And they can even escape it thanks to the treasure. So that's definitely problematic. I think they're gonna steal the game thanks to that. So they had some really good top decks. Certainly. So they get rid of the Blood Tithe Harvester. And they got plenty of cards in the graveyard to be able to escape Kroxa. I mean, if we find... Like, what do we even need to find here? Like, Shieldred, maybe? Okay, they go for the Deadly Dispute. Okay, so if they don't find a land here, they can't Kroxa. Fatal Push, okay, that's fine. They take 3 and we draw a card. Another Drannith Magistrate. It's not very exciting here. Oh, they can't cast a Kroxa. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. Drannith Magistrate. That's how the card works. They can't do it. I guess we learn something new every day. Alright, no blocks. We'll take 3. So naming Fatal Push with the Silver Quill Silencer was pretty good there. We find another one. I think we just... Do we ditch both? I mean, we're pretty close to ending the game. However, like, if they find a Fatal Push, that means they also get Kroxa. I think I like a backup. Okay, so ouch, Mayhem Devil. We gotta do this. Oof, what a top deck. What a top deck. That's insane. Now it's actually starting to look like we're taking back control of this game. So they're down to Den of the Bugbear, which is Oven. Okay. So we'll take 3 here. That hurts a bit. We get to block the 1/1. Drannith Magistrate's pretty good at that. So they're probably never casting this Kroxa. Okay, they just sack it to the oven. So oven is might be a little bit of a problem here because they'll get to make a lot of food. Do we play the land? I think like there's not really a reason to do so. I think the Fable's actually just gonna block the Den of the Bugbear. I don't think we can attack here actually. That might actually be a thing we have to do here. Cauldron Familiar, that's a problem. That's definitely a problem. And Drannith Magistrate does not lock this out of the game. And now it no longer looks like we're in control of this game at all. That little Cauldron Familiar there. Like, we need to find Rip Apart. Is there anything else that can get us out of this? Invasion of Gobokan? That does not do anything here. Yeah, I think we just lose. Alright, we can't attack. Okay, they don't do their sack shenanigans. They find a land, so that's good. Do we have, like, Sheoldred could maybe do something here? But I think they have it, right? Yeah, okay, we're just drawing lands, so that's not gonna be big enough. No attacks. Okay, they're just gonna sack food. I don't know why they're not using the loop. Maybe they think, okay, Orobrask. That's a card. And we can actually, like... Maybe they think they can't replay this if they block. But it's not casting. Like, Drannith Magistrate doesn't work, but I think the opponent think it does. So let's not attack. Let's not make them realize by having them jump here that they can actually do that. Okay, they're still not going for it. I really think that that's what's happening. So they're down to a land. And we draw 2 each turn now, effectively. So now we need to find like a Sheoldred so we can stabilize. There's a Sheoldred. And now it looks like we're starting to take back control of this game. Let's just go with no attacks. And they just sack the food? Okay. No! They got a Fatal Push. Like, all they need to do is just sack the goddamn cat and they win the game. As long as we don't find a way to gain life. Kroxa, part 2, they can't play that. Luckily. Because we would die to that. Another Sheoldred, please. Savai Triome. Land, that's not gonna do a lot here. But I really think we shouldn't attack. Because they'll have to chump block, right? And they'll realize that they can do the cat thing. No attacks. No more land, please. Wow, this game. Now we find something that can attack. That's pretty good. Okay, so this is gonna cycle, for sure. More land. That's... I guess let's play this. We're definitely not in a shortage of lands here. We're in a pretty good spot. I mean, literally only due to the fact that our opponent is not aware of how Drannith Magistrate works, but we'll take it. Yeah, they can't cast the Fatal Push. They're reading Urabrask here. So I guess Elite Spellbinder is gonna attack the invasion. More land, okay. That's pretty nuts with the flood here, but sure. Alright, we get to flip the battle. And we get to put a counter on the Elite Spellbinder. Urabrask gets them a land. So I mean, they're locked out of this game. They can't do anything apart from the cat loop. If they just... Jesus Christ. More land? Wow. That's like 6 lands in a row. Let's just attack with the Spellbinder. We don't wanna let them know that they can actually just yeah, pretty much win the game here. Claim the Firstborn. That's very good. That's not a card that they can play right now. This flood is pretty sick. Okay, they scoop it up. Okay, so we definitely stole a win there, thanks to our opponent not knowing what Drannith Magistrate does. But all right, more Mardu Magistrate in Explorer, and this would be a great hand if we had a white source of mana. So I think we are actually gonna have to mulligan this. Okay, so this looks better. This looks better. Let's keep, and let's actually get rid of the Shouldred here. Hollowed Fountain. So let's go for a Thoughtseize. Okay. Shark Typhoon is a way for them to get around the lock that we potentially put them in. Okay, so I guess Soul Petition is not a problem. We can play a slow game. I think we take Absorb here. Veto is not that big of a deal, honestly. And then we just go Drannith Magistrate. And they might just go for the Petition here, but I think we're fine with that. They decide not to. Okay, Fatal Push. That's gonna be something we loot away with Fable, I think, if we get to cast a Fable, that is. Like, I think we need to Spellbinder first, because they have a veto in hand. Okay, cycles the Shark Typhoon to make a 1/1. That's fine. They're probably just passing the turn. Okay, so they are missing land drop. That's good. Do we like? I don't think it's worth it to Fatal Push here. Let's go with a Spellbinder. Like, we'd rather loot these away with a Fable if we can get away with that. Okay, so Spellbinder resolves. And they go for the Petition on Drannith Magistrate. Okay, sure. So this is a problematic hand, I think. I think we take the veto. So if they don't draw land, we can get to resolve a Fable next turn. So we're really counting on that. No land. Alright, no land. So Fable. Yeah, Fable. And I think we fatal push this now so we can start attacking with the Spellbinder. We just need to put on some pressure now. Okay, they find the land now, but do they Supreme Verdict? They don't? Okay. Discard, fatal push, discard, rip apart, I think. However, like it's a little hard to see here what we can actually do if they just go Supreme Verdict. They just go Supreme Verdict and then follow it up with the Teferi. But this is not really an answer to that, I guess. So let's just do this. Find a million lands. Den of the Bugbear is probably a better strategy for that. So if we play this, they're 100% going for Supreme Verdict. So unfortunately, we can't really do much else here. Flooding out a little bit again. Get them down to 11 and pass the turn. And this gives them a window where they can Memory Deluge. But at least if they go for the Supreme Verdict this turn, we can Magistrate and we get a flipped Fable. They go for Teferi, okay. Okay. But like on board we have enough to just attack him down and then be done with it. Spellbinder. Can we do both? We can both Spellbinder and Magistrate, and then we can lock them out of Supreme Verdicting. Right? That's a thing we can do. If they don't have a counterspell for the Spellbinder here, that is. It's probably just a Shock Typhoon. Censor is also not going to be enough. Make Disappear is enough though. I still think we pay the price here. We're one short. So in that case I actually like getting rid of Teferi, because we have no way of stopping this. And then we can follow up by playing Magistrate, and then they can't play their second Teferi. So I think that's the plan here. And we'll have to attack down the Teferi here, unfortunately. This Sweeper is a little bit annoying. Make Disappear was a good card for them there. Let's play the tap land. We were just one mana short, being able to both pay for the tax and play Magistrate. They have to Supreme Verdict, yep. And they can't do much else. Okay, so Fable is a good draw here. Let's see if they got a counter. They don't. We'll hold on to the land and pop a treasure, so we got something to discard to the Fable next time. So no veto, no Teferi for you. Now we need to find something to clock them a little bit. Feel the Ruin? Or just like a Memory Deluge? They have another Verdict? That's a pretty sick top deck there. Okay, discard the land. Urabrask. So do we play Urabrask or Shieldred here? Which is gonna be the better Praetor? This is gonna deal more damage. and it'll probably mean that they miss a card draw because they're playing really reactively. And then next turn we can follow it up. So if they play Teferi now and tuck the Orobrask, that's their best answer, then they'll not have loyalty to do that with the Shieldred. Okay, they get rid of the Bugbear. And we're down to 0 basics. Do we even play basics? Okay, they find a land, so they get to play that. Okay. So they'll have to go for Teferi and tuck the Orobrask, I think. But that leaves them at a point where they currently have no answer for the Shieldred. And the Orobrask is gonna come back, right? They'll take 2 damage here. And if they tick up Teferi, that'll punish them pretty hard as well. But they might be able to find an answer here off of this Memory Deluge. Maybe one they can use in the upkeep. Okay, they don't. At least they don't find instant speed answers. They might find a third Supreme Verdict, but that would be pretty insane. So, opponent, what do you got? They pass the turn. Okay, Thoughtseize, that's not bad. They can veto. Wandering Emperor, okay. So get rid of the Absorb. And I think we just pass the turn. We just play the Fable and pass the turn. And let the Shieldred do its work. Do we make a copy that they can then exile? I think. Let's just do that. We get to make a treasure. And if they tick down the Wandering Emperor, they don't have the ability to make a what's it called? A token that can jump the Orobrask next turn. Okay, that's what they go for indeed. Shieldred deals 2. These Memory Deluges in the graveyard look pretty scary. Okay. They don't find enough answers, so we win. Sure. Alright, I think that that wraps up the gameplay part of the video here. Alright, so what's the conclusion? The deck performed really well overall, and we got to see some of the sweet Drannith Magistrate synergies in action. We also got to see how Drannith Magistrate was pretty good at shutting down Kroxa by itself, which is one of the examples I gave in the intro. Will the deck be able to compete against the top decks of the format? Well, that remains to be seen, although I do think there is some very real potential here, since we already know that roughly half of the deck, namely the Rakdos Midrange half, is super solid and is the core of arguably the best deck in the format. Whether or not this adaptation is meaningful compared to just regular Rakdos Midrange is a good question. I think this deck adds a pretty cool dimension with the Drannith Magistrate and Orobrask lock, and I actually think it's a really strong one as well. Also, I think the mana base could probably be improved. It was thrown together rather quickly, and I guess adding a third color compared to just being Rakdos is a strike against this deck, as the mana base will suffer a bit, but I think it's probably gonna work fine. All in all, I think the deck is super solid, and I could actually see this be a very real player in the format. I'm also interested in your opinion. What do you think about the deck, and do you have some interesting ideas to try out in a shell like this? Then leave a comment down below. Thanks a lot for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, as it's an easy and free way of supporting me in my content creation endeavors. Again, thanks a lot for the view. Until next time.